Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
There is a delay by 20 minutes. Okay. Let me commence. Hello. Can I start?
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Hope you are able to recollect what all the things we discussed in the last 3 days. Now we have to take up another phase of our thought processing for another 3 days. I believe we have started thinking about data. We have started thinking about the sources where the data is available. Then we started thinking about how to collect the data. So today, let us straight away work on two important points. One is field work. Second one is ethics related to research. Because these two things are very important. You know, being writers, we are having a sort of feeling that we know everything. At the same time, we have another feeling that the folk, the community people, they are not having good knowledge about the things. We are the analyzers, so we are the better interpreters. Therefore, what we are telling, it is correct. See, as money matters, as earning money, as earning degrees, as establishing ourselves, we may be good. But as far as community issues are concerned, as far as traditional knowledge is concerned, as far as local knowledge systems are concerned, certainly the folk, they are much, much better than we people. Therefore, the very first ethic which actually comes to frontline is before going for any field work, we must have a feeling of respect to the people whom we are approaching. Unless you respect them, you cannot respect their knowledge. You cannot respect their knowledge, then you cannot respect the data what you are getting. If you are not having the respect towards the data which you are actually collecting, you cannot interpret it. See, the rustic, ruthless, the dirt, the unsophisticated, you can give so many adjectives to the people by looking at them.
So down kar lijiye sir.
Similarly, the civilized, yes? Any problem, Praveen? Praveen Eduvamshi, any problem?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. So, the point, what I would like to tell you is, you don't rate the people by their appearance. You please rate the people by the commitment to the community they are having, commitment to the work they are actually doing, etc. Many such things are very, very, very important. So now you are actually entering into the field. You are going to different people. You are going to get the information from the people. What are the challenges you are having while doing these things? You are having so many challenges actually there. The very first challenge is when hundreds of people are there from whom you have to collect the information. Selection of the representative member of any type of group is very important for collection of your data. And when you are leaving a particular area to reach your informant, the traveling system may not be always helpful to you. All the time you may not be able to get a car to go. So you have to carry your luggage. In such cases, your frustration. 1 minute. Others, any voice rise? So your frustration should not affect the interview which you are going to conduct with the community people. So maintaining your feelings, your comforts, etc. is at one particular end. Preparing yourself with all sorts of enthusiasm to get the sources, to get the information, that's another important thing. So how better you balance your personality is very important. Therefore, in the beginning itself, I would like to take up a particular question. What are the qualities of a good field worker? Who would be a good field worker? A good field worker is who is able to extract the information properly from the people. That's one thing. He should be a good observer. Second one is he should be able to write precise notes on each item. He should be a good interpreter because the opinions sometimes differs. If two people are there, they may give two different types of information. See, when I actually went to one particular fair for my fieldwork, I came to understand that this day is the success of the deity there. Then I asked what sort of success it is. No, there were two demons in this particular place. The demons were slayed by this particular deity. We are actually worshipping the success of that particular deity over the demons. According to me, since I read D.D. Kosambi in detail, the ancient history of India, I am actually having an idea that the concept of this deity, the concept of this demon, and many other things, it is all created by we people only. Excuse me. Just a minute. So, the point is, deity means he is the cultural hero of one particular community. The demons means they are the leaders of one particular community. So, Ravana means there will be thousands of people belong to Ravana's background. All those people are not bad as Ravana. Similarly, Rama means he is the leader of one particular community where actually so many people are there. So, war held, one person won the battle. My simple question is, before entering into the fair, okay, this fair is actually conducted for the success of a particular deity over a particular community. So, the people who got success, they are celebrating, they are enjoying. Whether those people during that war, whether they smashed every individual of the opponents or only the soldiers. If every opponent is died, okay, there will be only people who got success and they are celebrating. If there is a community left out, belong to the defeated personality, maybe called as demon or whatever it is, but when that group is there, whether they are also whether they are also celebrating this, it's not possible. It's not possible because when their community hero is died, his death cannot be celebrated by all that community people. So this question comes in almost all folk communities, where actually you are finding a community supporting the hero. At the same time, there should be people who are belong to the defeated community. So certainly in the ritual factor, there will be some aspects which are being conducted for the sake of the defeated demons also. Their souls are to be satisfied, or their identification should be made. We are having the story of Bali and Vamana. You might have known about this particular story. Bali is a demon king, maybe belong to the Prahlada dynasty only. He conducted 99 yagas. Next, he is supposed to become Indra, Bali Indra. There is a threat to Indra's position. In such situation, Indra actually asked Balindra, Indra requested Vishnu to help him. So Vishnu went there and asked for 3 foot of land. He was very dwarf at that time, as a very young childhood Vipra, Vamana. But Bali accepted to give that, because the last part of that ritual which Bali was conducting was giving donations. So whatever the people asks, he has to give it. And Vamana took the advantage of that, and Bali accepted to give that. At that time, in 1 foot, Bali, when gave this donation, Vamana in 1 foot counted the whole of earth space. In the 2nd foot, he covered the whole of sky, because by that time this Vamana became Trivikrama, and he was worrying about where to put the 3rd foot. You know this particular story. Then Bali actually showed his head. So Vamana placed the head there, pushed him down, so that Bali moved to Patala. This is actually the story. In Karnataka, in Kerala, during Diwali festival, there will be a specific ritual. There is a specific ritual During this ritual, Balindra Puja will be done on Gopadyami. That is called Bali Padyami. The belief in this particular place is the soul of Bali is coming back to this earth during that Bali Padyami, and for 3 days the soul remains here in the form of light. It visits all its connected families, it gives blessings and will go back. It's a ritual. So now, if you want to study the particular Balipadyami ritual, so you have to take the mythological story. You may worship Vishnu because he is the hero who killed or who actually removed the problem by Bali. But at the same time, Bali also got some importance. In all stories, we may not find this. We may not be able to find a temple for Ravana. We may not be able to find a temple for Duryodhana. Maybe. If you go for research in different forest areas, you may find some tribes claiming that they belong to Pandavas community. When you are able to find some community stating that we belong to Pandavas community, why don't you find 1 or 2 communities stating that they belong to Kauravas? So, when you are approaching the community, when you are approaching a particular fair place, you should be very careful what type of data you are going to get and for what purpose you are getting. Yes. See, every ritual is having lot of meaning also many times. We should be able to decipher the meaning of such things. You know Nagar Panchami, Nagar Chauthi and Nagar Panchami. Chauthi is 4th day, Chaturthi, Nagar Chaturthi, and Nagar Panchami is the 5th day, actually. During that time, in many of the houses, there is a habit of drawing a rangoli, that is floral drawing, that white powders drawing at the doorsteps. The serpent's figure will be drawn there. If you are a researcher, it becomes your responsibility to identify what type of drawing it is. Okay, it may be by dots or it may be by lines. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
There's a problem in electricity. So there is no power support. So I will speak on this phone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are.
Sir,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. Where I was actually. So, sorry. I was discussing about Nagar Panchami. See, look at
Sir,
the Nagar
what
Panchami
are you pronouncing actually?
drawings.
Hello?
Yeah. look at the
Sir.
Nagar Panchami drawings drawn in front of the doorsteps. On Chaturthi, the
Hello, sir.
snake is drawn as if it is coming inside, and on the Nagar Panchami, the snake is drawn as if it is going out of the house. So, when we take the meaning of these pictures, it is having a ritual connection, then it is having mythological connections, then it is having connection with the belief system. So on Nagara Chaturthi, serpent has come inside the house. Serpent is not the wild animal, it's actually the deity which is coming to the house for the purpose of blessing the people inside, and it's going on the next day. So the picture which is drawn there, it is not just speaking something, but it is giving a meaning to them, and it is representation of their what I can say, their belief systems also, their mythological understanding also. Just a minute, current has come back, power has come back. So whenever you are doing research, after finalizing your area, after understanding what sort of data you needed, whether it is from community, whether it is from marketing informations, whether it is from literature background, whether it is from archives, whether it is from museum. So like that, when you it is Nag Panchami. So there actually, after identifying the particular area where your sources are available, there actually you have to start working, extracting the data. See, when you are actually getting the data from the field, you are entering into the field as an alien. Many of you will not get the bright opportunity of conducting a research about your own community. If you are conducting a research about your own community, if you are conducting a research about the belief system under which you are actually living, then things may be easy to you sometimes. Because if you are doing it as an alien, if you are an outsider, then you should be very cautious. Because one thing is, your entry into the community should not create a sort of inconvenience to the people who are living. It directly, but if they are doing some puja, if you keep your video in front of that, they may get disturbed. Sometimes spirit possession or some liminality problem will be there in the field. This purity concept is there. Caste restrictions are there because India is a caste biased community. So here, when these caste biased issues are available, then your entry may create a sort of problem to those people who are actually functioning there. So you should go to the particular place at least one time before the actual recording or actual documentation is being done. Your early entry is very important. Unless you go there early, you cannot identify where exactly you can keep your video camera, where exactly you can stand, where exactly you can interview the people, who are the actual performers, etc., etc., etc. Today, I would like to show two just a minute, I want to show. See, when you are actually doing field work, you should do it in two different ways. One is, in the early, you should go there. Sorry, it's creating something. Okay. So, you should go to the field 1 or 2 days before, when fair is not there, and you should go on the particular day for recording with your items. But when you give a preliminary visit, then you have to make lot of notes about the things. See, this beginning work is very important. Whom you are going to interview, which particular photo you want to take, which particular place you want to visit, etc., etc. Because when there are no crowds, then you can get the minute informations. I will show you two videos, 5 minutes or 4 minutes each. You just try to find the difference between the two videos. What is the advantage in the first video? What is the specialty in the second video? You can discuss after viewing this. So, just 1 minute, I will display my first video now. Just 1 minute. Just a minute. I am trying to display it. I hope this will be seen to you properly. Can you view this video? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Saudatti Yellamma. Okay. Okay, this is one particular center, Saudatti Yellamma. This is Renuka, is known as Yellamma in Karnataka. Renuka story you know. That is Jamadagni. Jamadagni's wife is Renuka. Renuka's son is the great Parshurama, who always seen with an axe, who killed all Kshatriyas by making 21 rounds on earth. Ultimately, he met Rama and transferred all his energy to Rama, etc., etc. So much of stories. The same story you can recognize here by seeing this temple yard, etc., etc. Because you can see Jamadagni there, you can see Parshurama's idol there, you can see one particular well, etc. Do you find any fair here today in this? Is there any crowd there? No, you are not seeing any crowd there.
No, sir. There is not any crowd.
There is no crowd. Why? Because I documented this much earlier, some 15 days earlier to the day of fair. Because I know on the fair day, I cannot stand there. I cannot put my camera there because lakhs of people will gather there. So this is actually the first particular point you have to recognize, that if you want to document, if you want to go to collect some particular informations, be well in advance to that particular place. You try to make 2-3 visits to the particular place. Even if you want to work on art item, an artist, you take the exhibitions at one end, you visit his lab, because how he prepares, how he draws, how he exhibits, how he sells. All 4 items are very important. Then you go for interview with him. See, in the beginning itself, you do interview, then you want to see his canvas, then you take the price list, etc., etc. You can do like that, but I don't think that will fetch much information to you. See, the deity is actually being worshipped here. See, here everything can be taken very closely because there is no crowd. And people, the administrators of this temple and other people, they are very cooperative. Here comes the first ethic. There are so many ethical points actually while doing this research. I want to correlate both of them. The first point is, you are a researcher. You may be a Hindu, maybe a Muslim, maybe a Buddhist, Jain, Sikh, or even many other. You are going to a temple. Their philosophy, your philosophy, whether it coincides, whether it conflicts, we don't know. I cannot say a Muslim only should work on Sufis, Muslim only should work on Agra's Dargah, Muslim only should do works on such things. If I say so, at the same time I should say a Muslim should not do research on a temple, controversy, or conversely, a Hindu can do this work, but he should not visit a Jaina Basadi. He should not be able to do any research near Gomateshwara, etc. Such problems will be there. You are prejudiced, the community people are also prejudiced. Because being a Hindu, you are having lot of knowledge sources at you. Being a particular community people, there also lot of issues are there. Here, this NA Honda is seen there. One particular place in that particular area. There actually, there is an argument that this Hindu temple, now it is the temple of Renuka, once upon a time was the temple of a Jaina. Jaina Basdis got transferred to Hindu temple. You are a researcher, now you will enter. See, their prejudices, the present administration doesn't want to accept the reality. What the speculation is there, whether this is belong to Jaina. No, they are telling that no, since long back this is only Hindu temple, where Shaivas are actually the owners of this, like that. But as a researcher, in the beginning itself, you should not brand it. I am coming here to prove that this is belong to a Jaina dynasty. If you start doing your research in that way, you will not be able to get any sort of cooperation from the local people. So you keep your prejudices, your questions for yourself. You try to document what exactly the informations are available in that particular place. Can you understand? So after getting the data, you go on developing logical argument. For your logical argument, you visit 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Now I told you in the previous class that there was a lamp in the hand of a beautiful girl. This oil painting is made by Ravi Verma. You may start your research. You may get some doubt. Oh, this might not be done by Ravi Verma. So you should not declare in the beginning itself. If you declare like that, all artists from all over India will come against you. Because so much of research is being done on that particular item and people are already with fixed mindset. So in such cases, if you want to take up this particular type of research, then you have to do that research by collecting the proper informations. Unless you have sufficient evidence, you should not speak. You have to keep it for yourself. At the same time, another ethic point in our research is you are not supposed to hurt the feelings of the community with your truth, with your findings, with your hypothesis, or with your logical thinking. You are not supposed to hurt the people of. But at the same time, you are having a responsibility. See, there is another temple by name Chandragutti Yallamma. Again, it is another form of Renuka Yallamma, Chandraguttava. In 1980, 83, 84, when I was actually a degree student, when I was studying BSc during that time, there was a big movement in Karnataka actually. Because at that time, it was made known properly that there is nude worship in that particular temple. That means women belong to some particular community. Particularly, these sorts of exploitations will be by the lower strata people. So, those people, they took a bath in the early morning. After taking the bath, they will roam around the temple in the nude. Naked worshipping was there. Afterwards, some variations happened. They used to put neem leaves around their waist and they used to go around. So there are activists. See, you researchers, sometimes you feel that you should be activists also. Because you may feel that some nonsense is being done. You may feel that society is actually not going to benefit by these type of ritual practices. And being a learned person, you may not be able to accept some of the ritual practices, etc. So, there were many learned people, lecturers, teachers, researchers, university professors, so many people actually, some press persons all gathered together. They made 2 buses, rushed to the temple during the fair. They made agitation. They tried to oppose the ritual. Of course, by consistent efforts for 2-3 years, then government actually banned that nude worshipping. So, you are having every right to bring a social change by your research. But at the same time, you should not suddenly interfere in the belief system of the common people unless you bring them to a mental stage, a psychological conclusion that they are ready to, you have to prepare them, the community, to accept the changes. Then only you can bring the changes. If you are not doing any of these preliminary efforts, then it becomes a very difficulty. So, in my own research thesis, I have mentioned very clearly, being a Brahmin, in front of me, 16 rams were sacrificed. I was with the video camera. I was holding it. I was documenting it. I fell in a dilemma. I want to oppose it. I'm being a pure vegetarian. I want to stop it. But if I tried to stop it, people will take me away because lakhs of people are there. They will carry me along with my camera. They will throw me out of the fair yard and they will continue their practice. So I have to document whatever I am seeing sincerely, but while analyzing At that time, I can make my comments as researchers comment. So sincere documentation is one of the major requirement and one ethic for any field worker. When you go to the field, though you feel that the interpreter from the village, he is telling something wrong, you should not correct him there. The correction, if necessary, will be made by another villager there itself. Because if some person is giving some wrong information, the other villager or other villagers, they will combining together, they may correct it. You can document it. But as a learned person, it is not your responsibility there. While reporting, you give your opinion in the footnote. This opinion is given by the insider, but as an alien, I am observing this and my observation is this. So sincere documentation of the fact is very important. That's another important ethics you have to follow. Then comes, so many things will be happening there. When so many things are happening, you may find difficulty to collect all the informations. In such cases, what you are going to do? You have to go for your previous records. Different people I have already might have written books, articles, notes, etc. It's available either in library or in university or in your friend's house. Somewhere you may get those things. Fine. You copy it. How many pages you are going to copy? Anyway, you are asked to submit to 280 pages of or 220 pages of thesis. So about 200 pages you can copy it. Another 20 pages here and there if you write and submit, you will think that your work becomes very easy. Because even if I go there, even if I see this, same thing I am going to get it. Be aware, there is plagiarism act. This plagiarism act is one of the very important ethical point in doing research. You are allowed to read the books written by your previous scholars. You are free to get the idea from those people. You are free to get the sentences from those books. But it should not cross 10% of total of your work. If it crosses 10% of total work, then your book will be rejected, your dissertation will be rejected, and you will be asked to rewrite. So this is one point. Then, when you are taking the sentences from others' work, you have to mention it first in the bracket from whose book it is taken, then in the footnotes. Actually, you have to give the full details of that particular book, or in the end notes. That means at the end of each chapter, and also in the bibliography and in reference work. Unless you give the clear detail of whose book is actually referred for this particular information, then you will become a thief. You will become a person who actually stolen the knowledge from other end. So this is actually plagiarism. The ideas should not be taken. The sentences should not be copied as it is. The paragraphs should not be copied. If you are taking the idea, if you are taking the sentences, then if you are taking the sentences, you have to mention it in bibliography. Must and should. From this particular page. For that purpose also there is a set of information. I think Shubham Madam may give you the details how to write the bibliography. If not, if I am asked, I will give you those details on one particular day. Anyway, Another set of 6 days, I think I will speak to you. During that time, one particular day, I will dedicate for how to write the bibliography, how to write the endnotes, how to write the footnotes. So, as far as ethical point is concerned, if you refer anybody's book, if you refer anybody's movie, anybody's documentary, anybody's photo, if anybody's any sort of work, please mention it properly. See, by mentioning their names, their book, their pages, your research value will not come down. Be aware of that. After reading 10 research books, your book certainly will be better than all of those things. Because there will be 10 different type of findings in those 10 books. You can think in 10 different ways, and you can get flashes to think in the 11th way, and certainly your book will be able to give some sort of new idea, some sort of new information, some sort of new data, some sort of new conclusion, some sort of new suggestions. Therefore, be aware, you consider not stealing the information from others. That should be one of the particular ethic in research. So plagiarism, there are many slides. It is available in website. You please go ethics in research. Then you look at those items. You will get more clarity about these things. Give concentration on this particular item because it's very, very important as far as my knowledge is concerned. Then, when you are going for field work, what you are expected to do? There are two things. You are expected not to do something and you are expected to do something. Both are there. If you are a young boy, you are going to the field, there will be gender issues. Don't make gender discrimination. This is another important item. In some cases, socially, some people may be treated very ridiculously. In same Ellamma, this one, Devadasi system is there. It was there. This Devadasi system is almost equal to the system of prostitution in the name of deity. Socially, it's an evil. You are supposed to get some facts and informations. Don't put questions which actually creates embarrassment to your informant. Frame your questions in such a way that it should be sophisticated, it should be dearly, but at the same time, you should be able to extract the required information. Because creating ridiculousness to your informant is not your job. So that is also very important. Then you have to collect the personal details of the people. Lot of people's personal information you are supposed to collect. What sort of information? Age, gender, occupation, name, parenthood, family lineage, caste. Of course, we should remove caste system. At the same time, we should enter caste name in all applications. We cannot live without it for time, at least some more years in India. Okay, so you collect all those personal informations. Then age and occupation, it's very important. Educational background, if possible, you collect. Then occupation and religious occupation they are doing. If they are connected, it will have more meaning. Then you collect about their guru, how they learned this particular item, where they learned. Because in any art form, you know, the form is connected to geographical region also. Ganjifa. When I said this word, you may be able to identify at least 1 or 2 states where actually this art form is seen. Sometimes, of course, because of this globalization, the whole world becomes a single village, global village. Therefore, everything is available anywhere or everywhere. And in one corner's information will reach to the all corners of the world. Therefore, now this gap is actually disappearing. Still, we can identify Kalankari. So, immediately you can identify, okay, in which particular place this Kalankari is available. So in some tribes, particularly Savara tribe, there will be actually wall painting. In Idiga community in Karnataka, this wall painting is available. Or there are some folk tribes who are actually working on leather puppetry. Leather puppets are beautifully drawn paintings actually. And they are actually focused upon a white screen by giving different types of lights from the background. In Andhra Pradesh near Anantapur, in one small place, Tumalkatte, there actually the people are creating these type of leather puppets. We are finding very few villages, 1 or 2 villages only in Andhra Pradesh and in Karnataka near Ballari and other places. And this art form is actually diminishing now. Nowadays, it is disappearing. After some days, most probably when the present families, when we lose those families, most probably this art form also we may lose it. So, if you want to document all these things, then that geographical region also you have to think very properly. You have to collect the information about the art form, about the community, about the people, about the guru, about the background of those gurus. Because it might be transmitted from one place to another place. It may be migrated from one place to another place, or it may be shifted. And when it is originally found in one particular place, and when it is shifted to another particular place, there may be localization. There may be so much of changes in it. You should be able to identify those things. Same art form may be seen in different forms in different geographical regions. There may be one particular community's migration in a particular route, Silk Route of India. If you take that, the Lambadis movement from Rajasthan to south, if you take the example of Sevalal epic, the Lambanis or Banjaras from Rajasthan, they moved down to Mangalore in Karnataka, and the route map we can prepare. The art form also moved in the same direction, that also you can see. When communities actually shifted from one place to another place, their art also will be carried along with them. The deities will be carried. Therefore, the religious centers will have some sort of connection from one place to another place. So, all these things you have to take into consideration. Madhvacharya born in Karnataka. Madhva philosophy established in Karnataka. But one of his disciples, Chaitanya, he established his Chaitanya Pantha in Bengal. So, when we speak about Chaitanya Pantha, we are speaking about Bengal. When we speak about Madhva philosophy, we will speak about Karnataka, Udupi, Sri Krishna. But if you are having a broader outlook, if you are able to connect the history with the evolution of such religious forms, then only you can able to connect all these items. Similarly, in art research also, if you find one particular type of art form in one particular area and similar one in another place, then you may try to connect how this shifting has happened. See, otherwise your research becomes very superficial if you are not able to identify the historical development, evolution, the local inspiration, the modifications, the global impact, the impact of globalization, the impact of industrialization, etc., etc. So you cannot. So what sort of globalization? See, earlier when comics are written, so many drawings are written actually. By using the illusion of eye, the art pictures actually so there is a relationship. But nowadays, how this can be done? By video cameras, it can be done very easily. Many of the cartoons are there, Cartoon Network or that Beam in Pogo. In different series, we can see so many animations actually. So animation may be a technological development, but the roots are there in the preliminary paintings or drawings. So you have to connect such items also. So like this, when you are going to the field, you should have several things. One is what sort of information you want to collect, whom you want to meet. Therefore, a pilot survey is required. When you do pilot survey, you will get one rough idea that during the fair time or during the actual field work, you can meet certain people and you can develop your research findings through that. So you can collect the required data in proper way. So for that purpose, empty temple should be visited, empty places where actually special rituals are being conducted, those places you have to see. You have to identify the role plays and role players. You can make a historical background development of those role players. Ram Leela is or Ravan Dahan is done in some particular place, for example, in your Uttar Pradesh. So arrow will be thrown, the firing arrow will be thrown towards Ravan. That if who actually throw this arrow? So Rama cannot come now. Somebody in place of Rama should do it. What is his background? How he is connected to this particular ritual practice? What right he is having to do that? Why not others can do this? If something happens to him suddenly, if he falls ill, then who has to replace him? So many questions will be there. Being a researcher, you have to collect all these things. So like that, when you are doing folklore research, your information, it should be in very broad way and you have to try to get many of those things. So personal details you have to collect, community details you have to collect, place and time importance you have to collect, historical background you have to think of, legendary informations, epic informations, or place stories, if anything is there. All those things you have to see that. And if any folklore is available around it, those points also you have to collect it. If you are collecting the image of photo of some particular item, for example, if you are collecting a bullock cart, I say bullock cart. When I said bullock cart, you have to take a photograph of that. Is it enough? If you display the bullock cart photo in your museum hall, people may ask from which place it is taken. Then they may ask, if it is from Uttar Pradesh, what is the difference between a bullock cart available in Kerala and bullock cart available in Uttar Pradesh? So you should make some specificity of that particular picture. Then whether one bull is actually tied to this or two axes are connected to this. So that also you have to see whether it is two bulls bullock cart or whether it is single bull bullock cart. So just by looking at it, you can understand. If you are a village person, you can understand. If it is directly coming from a software company, born, brought up in a software company, without visiting any village, so in such cases, you should be able to give all those minute details. So when you are collecting any item in terms of material culture, then you have to collect a lot of information related to that. Similarly, for ritual documentation, when you are documenting a particular ritual, why it is being performed, you have to start with this question: where, when, what, etc. So many questions will come, and you have to collect all those informations. Now, I will try to display one video. Actually, now it is filled with people happening lot of activities, and where you are going to stand, how we are going to document these things. I personally documented this particular documentary. So you just imagine if you want to do the documentation of the same fair, feel that this video is a raw information for you. And if you want to select at least one or two items from that, and you have to prepare one canvas picture, then which item you are going to select, and what sort of minimum informations you want to take, etc., that you can see. You have seen the glimpse of these this video in my previous show also, but now you view it specifically for the purpose of just a minute. It's the same video I've seen earlier, I've shown you earlier, but now it is filled with full of people, lakhs of people are there. Now you are asked to do the research in this particular item. You are asked to identify 5 frames which you can depict. You can write you can prepare a paint on your canvas with this particular item. Which are those items you can select? So like that you start, you think that you are doing some research in this particular place. So this is one frame, you can recreate this scene, because he is telling oracle, stating some proverbial sentence which actually gives a very different type of meaning. This is about Mailarlinga tradition. Mailara is considered to be brother of Yellamma. Long epic is there. So just you try to view this. This is actually direction and research is by me. Of course, this is the place, the rural place. Certainly researchers have to travel like this. Of course, since I am taking video and other things, I have a vehicle to move. Otherwise, I have to walk all this distance. Similarly, you also, if you want to do research in fieldwork, particularly in folklore, then you should be ready to walk long distances. Now and then I will move. This is the temple yard. So now people already started gathering there because fair is there. See the difference between the previous video I have shown and this video. This is the documentation actually, because the activities are being on now. the activities are going on, the deity is there, you have to give the importance to the deity, you have to collect the information, you have to keep this item. Can you imagine on the day of the fair, I can go near to this deity and videograph this? It's very difficult. This portion is documented much earlier. It's edited. So now you have to correlate the things like this. See, these are some important places actually there. Different deities, different people. I think this deity is known to you all. This is a folk deity. This is purely a folk deity. This is a folk temple. See, during the night, the demon is supposed to be killed. For that purpose, attack will be there. The deity is taken. There you might have seen some white cloth actually covered. You just observe that particular point. After 2 minutes, I will show another one. Now, these participants, the devotees in that fair, they are moving towards one particular place in that village where actually it is the spot of the demon, and they are going for a war in the night. In the night they are going, and every devotee, every participant in that jatra, they are feeling that they are a soldier of the king, deity. And after reaching that place, see, people are actually rushing now. You might have seen that cloth covered item. Now you see, after some time, they feel that they are actually making war. And now the demon head is seen there. You might have seen that. See, that demon head is seen now. Actually, this is the ritual they are conducting there. They went there. They went as soldiers of one particular group. They fought with the opponents. They assassinated the demon, and they are bringing back. So they are celebrating these things. So many further performances will be there. I don't want to waste your time. Actually, there will be court king's situation. A Gorapa is dancing there. So these are different devotees actually. Classification of devotees are there actually. By their services given to the deity, there will be devotees group. One is holding a whip in his hand, beating his own leg. Another fellow is holding a bell in his hand. Another fellow is having a flute in his hand. Now this fellow is having a small drum, damaruga, in his hand. And all these actually symbolizes them, and different type of classification is possible for them. So, if you want to know about the Gaurava who is having a drum in his hand, you should interview one such person. If you want to know about the Gaurava who is having a whip in his hand, because he is considered as Kudurekara. Kudure means horse. He is feeling that he himself is a horse, and he is beating his leg, feeling that he is hitting the horse to move fast in the war field. So these devotees, they themselves feel that they are the soldiers, and they are doing. See, these are actually Nai Gauravas. Nai means dog. They bark like dog. They bite like dogs. They actually fight like dogs. So different types of performance will be done. So you have to make a pilot survey before this fair is being done, or at least you have to visit the fair first. After visiting that, you can make a list. You can make different lists of people whom you can interview, and at least after the documentation of this fair, you have to go to them individually and you have to make them to interview. Now you have to observe this little carefully. These people are in the same group, they are Kanchaviras. I told you, these people believe that they belong to the assassinated demon's part. They feel that their hero is actually searching for blood and it is their responsibility to give blood to them. See how many people are there. Can you see these equipments? These are the hard services actually they are giving. They are doing in the name of the deity. See, you may be a person with very soft heart, but when you go to the field, you should be ready to document these type of informations also. Unless you document all these points, your documentation becomes incomplete. See, he is actually pouring this iron trident in his wrist. Wait for the next one. It will be much more interesting. This fellow is Chikkanna Dollin. I studied him continuously for 4 months. 1.5 months before this performance is being done. And after the performance, I interviewed him several times. I followed him for about 3 months. He himself is hitting. He himself is creating. Can you see? Can anybody react?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where you have to keep your video camera? Where you have to make a place? If you go directly on the day of fair, certainly you cannot find a place to place your video camera. At least 10 days before, you have to go there, you have to meet the administrative officer, you have to meet the police there, you have to make yourself introduced to those people, you have to get the permission, and then only you will be allowed to sit in the proper right corner so that you can document it very properly. See, this documentation of such things is very difficult, and unless you are a professional in that, you cannot do it. See, what is he doing? He made a hole in his hind leg. He is passing a thread in it. The thread is made up of a goat's leather sometimes, or deer's skin, deer's leather sometimes, depending upon the availability. Nowadays, killing of deer is actually prohibited. Therefore, they go for alternatives. Can you see the blood flowing there? Why I am showing you this is not to make you panic, but how much careful you should be while documenting the information. If you are very specific to document this particular item, see, you can see, they are not making any sort of miraculous deeds here. They are hitting their leg. They are shedding the blood. They are piercing this. And I wanted to concentrate my camera on his face rather than on his leg, because he is having a lot of pain. Then my research begins. It's not the end here. Because of this documentation, so many questions will start coming into my mind. I will start thinking, what is this foolish fellow? Why he himself is harming? Why he is creating so much of pain to his body? See, nobody is actually creating this pain. He himself is getting into it. Why? What makes him? Whether it is just because of the coins he is going to get on that particular day? Whether he is having some 2-3 acres of land in the name of deity for doing this service for that purpose? Of course not. We have to see the psychology of the group. Group psyche is very important. Group's worldview is very important. Group's thoughts are very important. The whole cultural atmosphere is very important. The mythical background is important. The local history is important. The supporting, patronizing communities are very important for these things. See, if you are able to understand all these things, if you are able to do all these ritual studies in the proper order, then only you can understand. See, finally I could not get any place here. I climbed the vehicle to document, to keep my camera. Sometimes that's also happening because we cannot move inside these people. Safety of our objects also very important because God will bless us, no doubt. But the thieves are also will be blessed sometimes in the group. And if our camera is lost, if our costly items are lost, nobody will help you because you are not insured to your camera or your things. So being a field worker, be aware what is happening in the field. That is also equally important. I believe I am actually trying to take you around in the field. If it is a offline class, I could have organized half-day field work for you to go to some particular temple or some particular village community, some sandy weekend market in a village, etc., to observe many things. And now if I ask you to draw some pictures on your canvas, depending upon this particular video, that is fair, then you will tell, sir, I have to see once again. Certainly your answer will be like that. Sir, can I get a copy of this? You will tell. When you get the copy, you will go through it with a specific idea. Which one is good for my frame? And you want to understand the whole of the story for about 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Then you want to pick some theme from it. Then you will add your imagination and you will make a frame there. Possibilities are there because your imagination and mythical informations, they actually collide and produces something. But art history research, it's very difficult to do also because many of the frames which you are using for your research will not give historical documents with them. Who wrote this? Why wrote them? Which community was there to inspire this particular art form? For whom it is written? What the artist wanted to inform through this? What message this particular item is giving? Etc. So many questions will be there. So finding answer to those things also becomes very important. So therefore, while doing the research, I think I am crossing my time limit. But today, since we started a little late, anyway, I have covered almost all the points which I wanted to tell you. I will summarize some of the points first. See, for your research, whether it is art research, whether it is performance analysis, whether it is a literature study, whether it is sociological understanding, whether it is economic analysis, whatever it is, you need to meet the community people. Because even for finding the variation in market about a particular product or establishment of a particular sort of industry or going back of China models from Indian market, whatever it is, if you want to make such study, there also the community understanding should be there. If you are making the bonds, stocks, shares variation, etc., then also you need communities variation. Sociological changes, what is happening there also. If you want to work on addictions, drug abusers, drinking habits, family conflicts, etc., etc., there also you need communities understanding. Similarly, if you want to work on art history or the modern art or many other things, there also you have to do the community study. But the percentage of such requirement may be varying from one discipline to another discipline. So you just consider you are collecting the information. So what type of information you are getting? You are getting information from two sources. One is directly from the field, another one is secondary sources. What are the secondary sources? Already documented item. If my video is used for your research, it becomes a secondary source. If you go to the field with your camera to collect the information directly from the fair place, directly from the temple, that becomes primary source. So primary and secondary informations are there. Okay. Then if somebody has written book on this particular community, okay, that also becomes a secondary source. If a All India Radio interview is with some of the Gauravas or devotees, then that also becomes secondary information. If you interview a performer for your research with your voice recorder, it becomes primary information, primary data, primary source. So like that, first you try to understand what is primary data source, what is secondary source of data. That's one particular point. Then, when you are going to the field, there are gender differences, gender unification. A fair doesn't mean it's only for males, it's only for females. All type of devotees are there. You have to interview. You have to select the samples. There will be singers. Male singers are there, female singers are there. Performers, male performers are there, female performers are there. The absence also is having some significance. While talking, the silence is also having some meaning. Similarly, if some performance is restricted only to male, if some performances are restricted only to female, why? Such question should come to your mind. In this Mylar affair, which you have seen in the last, there are two deities, Shiva in the form of Marthanda Bhairava, Mylar Linga, male deity. The next one is Parvati and Gange clubbed together in the form of Gangi Malava. Here. Because he is having some more wives, Komali, Kurbati, etc. So these two clubbed together, Gange Malava is there. There is one particular performance holding a long iron chain, which is of some 1/4 inch thickness, very hard one. The devotees called by the name Sarapalli Gauravas, that is chain Gauravas, they are supposed to pull it, and by pulling it very strongly, they have to break it. Such miraculous deed, they have to do it. I have forgotten to show that particular part to you. This performance will be done behind the temple. But during that time, he will shout Appa, Appa, Appa sometimes. And sometimes Amma, Amma, Amma. Appa means father, Amma means mother. Amma means mother. There is a belief while pulling the chain, if you call means it is praying the God only. Oh God, come help me for breaking this, like that. Amma, if he calls, Appa, he calls, The meaning is that if he calls us Appa, people says Appa andre Hariyalla, Amma andre Hariyate. Means if you shout as Appa, father, it won't break. If you shout as Amma, that is mother, then it breaks. See, so many researchers wrote so many things before me. Dr. Kosambi, even Guntur Santheimer from German, then Shamba Joshi from Maharashtra. So many other people also visited that particular temple and they did a lot of research on that. But when I tried to do the research on that, I got a doubt. Why they believe Amma? Amma means mother goddess. Why, when mother goddess name is actually uttered, then only this chain breaks? There may be some reason behind it. I started my research from that particular end. I came to understand that in 8th century, 10th century, 11th century, due to the historical documents what we are finding in inscriptions and other places, through that we were able to understand that the deity which is there in that temple as mother deity, it is belong to one particular community, mother deity, which was actually Matru, that is women-centered cult. And because of this cultural overlapping and other things, domination, etc., migration, etc., overpowered this minor, this mother goddess cult, and it was actually blended together as conflict and compromise. The marriage of deity has happened, and this mother goddess is treated as the wife of that male deity, and the worshipping is continued. But mother-centered family system was there, matrilineal family system is there. They continue to worship their mother deity, and they are giving a sort of opposition to the male deity. They still believe that this male will not come to help us, this male deity, only mother deity will take care of us. So, after making a sociological survey, sociological study, lot of information actually came out. A very good research is being developed on these things. Then we were able to identify some of the independent temples for that that female deity, and those villages are having some inscriptions referring only to the female deity. Like that, from one particular end, you will get the clue and you can develop your research in different directions. So, be open-minded, don't be prejudiced. This is another ethic which you have to follow in the research. Don't be prejudiced. Don't have any conclusion in your mind. And hypothesis may be there, but hypothesis should not make you stubborn not to accept any information from the field. It is something like the manager calls the team, tells them, go and sit for discussion. Finally, by 5 o'clock, I want the car at black color. This should not be the research idea. If the manager is telling in the morning itself, the car should be in black color, what is the meaning in making them to discuss about it? What color should be there? Your research should not be like that. You should not decide what is the end. You should be open-minded, be free from prejudices. At the same time, be careful. Your community on which you are actually studying, that community is also prejudiced. When you are collecting the information, you have to edit it in such a way to remove these prejudiced informations. Be careful. So, if you are able to do all such things in this way, certainly you will become a very good researcher. Hope you are all artists, no doubt in it. Your art certainly should be a product of research. If your canvas is filled with a particular picture which is having some deep meaning, which makes the viewer to think in a proper way, if it is able to give certain messages to the people who actually looks at it, then certainly you will become great. It's enough. One canvas can make you world famous. It is not the number how much you are actually going to produce. Of course, number is also important for your economic development, but the quality product is also equally important. Be open-minded, be receptive to the time. Akashat patitam toyam yata gacchati sagaraha. The rain actually falls from the sky and it will flow towards the ocean. Akashat patitam toyam yata gacchati sagaraha. But the earth, which is in between, it absorbs only some quantity of water. You are like that. There is flow of knowledge from all corners. Actually, our Rigveda tells this, let the knowledge comes from any way. Let us be open for it. Try to absorb that knowledge. How much you are going to absorb, you will make it grow. So, tomorrow, I will try to give some extracts from different folk epics and how community's ideology is reflected in them. Why I am giving this is, if I am able to tell you about one particular folk epic, which is related to one tribal community, which effectively depicts the ideology of that community, which epic, if it is able to satisfy the requirement of a sort of feeling of that particular community, then why not your art canvas do the same? Because folk epic is also a creative imagination of some people. Your art is also creative of your imagination. You also can depict the messages what you wanted to tell. You also can depict, or you also can produce there the total ideology of a particular community, or you can tell or reflect the society item which you would like to reflect. See, it is possible. So, as a literature student, as a folk literature student, I will try to show you some examples how these epics, folk epics particularly, folk tales, they actually try to tell something by their creation. So you can adopt it in your works also. I hope today I made you to think about three particular items. One is, please go to the field with open mind, with proper preparation. So before going to the field, you have to make lot of preparations. Pilot survey is needed. Identification of informants is very important. Taking all equipments is another important item. Scheduling and proper planning is very important. Your route map, your traveling arrangement, your items to be taken to the field for additional works, then labeling at the spot. For that purpose, you have to take some green sheets, etc., etc. So all these items are very important. So preparation, pre-field work activity is very important. Then second point is, when you are using videos, nowadays you have to transfer now and then your data from your mobile to your laptop. Then you have to give the proper naming for that. On which day it is collected, in which place it is collected, etc., should be documented there itself. Then how much of memory is available, whether you have to take extra memory cards, etc., those points you have to think. Whether battery is available, extra battery you have to take, etc. See, I came with this power bank because I know this current will go, then my mobile also may lost its battery, then I have to have another alternative, and I keep another phone also ready, another this one data box is also kept ready, because this data may give problem. See, whatever the preparation we made, in spite of that, we will face some sort of problem in the field. You are the master of the situation. You have to think properly, use your presence of mind. You try to collect the maximum. Sometimes the informant is not at all ready to open his mouth. You may have to give some betel nut. You may have to give some pan bida. You have to give some cigarettes, PD, etc. Sometimes. You may have to offer drinks. Whether it is ethical, whether you have to do this, think about it. Because getting the information is not just the duty, at the same time, how best you are actually getting it, that's also very important. Then you are interviewing women, you are supposed to go there only to get the information, not to get the woman. So your ethics is also very important. Your life ethics also very important. So your behavior in the field, you should not create inconvenience. You should not be feeling that, sorry, the community should not feel about you as you are creating lot of trouble to them. They may kick you out from the field. Many of the field workers may get such things. Have identity card with you, because sometimes you may have to answer village heads, sometimes you may have to answer policemen, sometimes you may have to answer different type of people. For what purpose you are doing? Declare it in the beginning itself. When you hold a big video camera, they may think that you are taking a film shooting. They may ask you what sort of film you are shooting. Or somebody may feel that this is coming in the television. So they may ask you on which date it is coming. So they may happy to give a broad smile for your video. Be cool, give perfect answer. And whenever you are actually documenting, try to take the permission properly, either on the video or in written statement. Because it is community's property, it is not your property. You cannot sell it. See, I have prepared a beautiful video. I can sell it. So that's not ethical. And for informants, how much remuneration you are giving? Make a proper recording of that. If your project is funded, certainly you should give remuneration to the informant also. If you are not able to give remuneration to them, then specify why. So take the proper permission from them, otherwise this also comes under plagiarism. Not only the educated authors sues you in the court, sometimes these village men, they also can sue you in the court if they are not properly recognized. When Lauri Hanko from Turku University, Finland, conducted fieldwork in Karnataka about Siri epic, it's a sort of cola, Bhutha cola, then he made the epic singer Gopala Nayaka as one of the editor of that particular book. Along with Professor Lauri Hanko, Aneli Hanko, Professor B.A. Vivekarai, Professor K. Chinnapagowda, this Gopal Nayaka is also added as one of the editor. And this book is internationally made known because Lauri Hanko spoke about multiforms. These multiforms are one of the very important item in folk literature. So he has given a very new concept to the epistemology of folk literature. So at this stage, this Gopal Naik also got the credit. So this credit sharing is equally important. So this is also one of the very important ethic. So there are many more points to discuss, but now I think I am crossing because it is 5:50. Almost it is 6 o'clock. I am sorry I have taken much time of Shubham's class. So let's meet again tomorrow, 4 o'clock. If anybody wants to raise any questions, you are free. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we shall meet again for class.
Sure.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Now I'm ending the class, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Adarsh is telling okay. ಹೇಳು ಸೇ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಹೇಳು
Bye, Adarsh.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಹೇಳು